Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
To be in these places at the time that. So yeah, I'm in the right place at the right time.
Hear what happened now? I told you the Jamaican accent was going to come out. I'd love to be able to name all the bands, and I can't. But I know I'm going to miss.
You've been called selfless, you've been called kind, loving, all kinds of stuff. We know you're passionate about. Talk about your little 10-month-old son.
Yeah.
Talk about that, your pride and joy, of course.
I love my son. His name is Jawari, and he was born on Christmas Day. He's one.
Welcome to PEP Talk. I'm Rosie Peppy Parke, your host. And tonight I'm very excited to be having as my guest tonight the president of the Jamaican Nationals Association, Miss Claudette Henry.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Okay, so JNA of DC.
Yes.
Tell me about that organization.
The Jamaican Nationals Association of Washington, D.C. was started in 1968 by Howard students here from Jamaica with the desire to both get together as well as help their fellow Jamaicans back home. So it started as a way for them to get together and help Jamaica back home, and that vision remains today.
Okay, so that's pretty much the mission of the organization?
Well, the mission of the organization today is to unify, foster, and promote all Jamaicans, both here and in Jamaica.
Okay, and how does the association go about unifying and fostering and promoting the welfare of all Jamaicans here and back in Jamaica?
Well, JNA basically has 5 different committees through which they function. It's the Education Committee, which deals with scholarships. We recently gave out 4 scholarships, 3 in the U.S. and 1 in Jamaica. They do other things. They have mentoring programs. And we have the Community Relations, which we're currently working with a couple hospitals in Jamaica because we learned that they do not have proper equipment. Community Relations also reach out. Not so long ago, we helped the border babies at Howard University. Yes, and the Community Relations, that's Community Relations. We have Cultural and Social. That's basically our party, and we perpetuate the Jamaican culture with the Independence Gala and other things. And we have the PR Committee and the Finance and Fundraising. The Finance and Fundraising primary goal is to secure what we want to call Jamaica House DC. And that will be our little piece of America where we can centralize and operate.
And how many members do you have currently, like active members in your association?
I would say about 300. But normally when our functions, like the Independence Gala, it's a lot more than that. I was fortunate enough to meet with the new ambassador recently, and she was given some astounding numbers of the Jamaicans that are actually in this area. And so I'd like to really pull from that pool and get the JNA membership up.
And how challenging would you say it has been for the association to attract and retain members over the course of the time that you've been a member?
It's been difficult, and I venture to say that it's primarily because we're not centralized. We're all over the place, so we don't have a building that we can focus or operate from. So that makes it a lot more difficult. So going forward, we really are putting a lot of effort to making the dream of Jamaica House DC a reality.
Okay, and how personally, on a personal note, when did you become a member of the Jamaican Nationals Association, and what attracted you to the organization?
I like to call myself a returning Jamaican resident within the United States, in that I've been here for quite some time, and only in the last let's say, 6 years have I been revisiting my Jamaican culture. And I was doing an event at the Black Caucus, and a good friend of mine introduced me to the then president of JNA, and she sold me on JNA in its mission to unify and to help. Having just finished raising my children and finishing college, and I wanted to give back, and I was feeling the roots calling. So I answered by going into JNA, and from the very beginning I was executive secretary and worked that for a while, and now I'm steering the ship. Steering the ship.
Okay, so you said you've been in the United States for a long time. When is that?
Well, about 42 years.
And in all the time that you've been in the United States, have you ever joined any Jamaican and or Caribbean association as a way of connecting with that culture?
What does that mean? I was American.
I'm just asking. I mean,
I came to the United States, went to school, and was intimidated and picked on and wanted to blend in.
Okay.
I picked up the American lingo and Jamaican, because number one, they used to say to me all the time that, did you all live in trees and, you know, and tree houses? I understand now that their only experience was what they saw in Tarzan with Cheetah and the Jane.
But Tarzan is not Jamaica.
Okay. So I just assimilated right into the American culture and developed and developed and developed. And no, I'm coming back to my
You're
roots.
coming back.
Yes. Can you hear the patois?
No, I cannot, but that's not the point. I mean, it's interesting that you say that, because I know that there's a lot of Jamaicans and people from other places, other countries, not just Caribbean people, who are in another country that is now their home, and they haven't joined an association. So I just wanted to find out if it's, did you know that these organizations like JNA existed in the 40 years that you've been there prior to becoming a member?
Yes, I did, because my mom was active. And I mean, Jamaica's independence, that's something that I know she used to celebrate, but I just wasn't interested at that time, you know. So it was a personal choice, right or wrong, you know, just all American, but now I'm all Jamaican. See?
Okay. I mean, that's very interesting, because you came from one end, and you said you were attracted to the organization, and you went right in. And the story was told to me that when you joined the organization, you didn't have the necessary tenure to hold an executive office, but your passion and your drive was so astounding that you became a part of the executive committee. How did you feel once you made the transition from, this is an organization that I want to be a part of because it's really my heritage, to going in and deciding that you're going to be a part of the executive, which has a direct role in the shape of the organization?
Well, my personality was formed a long time ago, and for the most part, I jump in feet first. So when I'm very passionate, and once I got sold on the mission statement of JNA, that was basically it. I was sold, and I jumped in feet first and wanted to do every and anything that I could, and that has continued, and hopefully will continue to the realization of Jamaica House.
So tell me about, you were the executive secretary.
Yes.
And then we spin around and you're now leading the organization. You're their president.
Yes.
How did that happen? Was it something you were prepared for? Tell me a little bit about that whole transition.
Well, I was not prepared. I'm still not prepared, because I am a worker, and I like to work from behind the scenes. By trade, I've been in the legal profession about 35 years, and organized, meticulous, and I don't see those as good leadership or president qualities. I want to type, I want to organize, I want to maintain the list, I want to call people, I want to bother them. For example, this interview.
Right.
I am so out of my elements.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
This is not me. I'll be behind the scenes, you know, spurring on and taking the notes and taking it back to the members. But the void was there, and because I believe in JNA, and I believe that we can do what we say we're going to do. So I jumped in, and here I am.
And so you're a lot more visible because you are the person who people are gonna come to if they need anything. And tell me a little bit about the relationship that you have with the Embassy of Jamaica in Washington, D.C.
One of my biggest accomplishments, I wanted to get in line with the Jamaican Embassy, because I see JNA as a leg of the embassy, because we're out there in the community talking with the people, and we can then communicate or translate that back to the embassy and just be a liaison. So the relationship I've really been trying to cultivate and stress that to no ends. We were very close with Ambassador Johnson, and I've met Ambassador Marks. She's a very, very remarkable woman, and I have nothing but high regards for her. And I look forward. She promises great things in the future, and I believe her.
Okay, so a couple more questions. I know one of the main objectives for 2010 to 2012 under your leadership was the formal establishment of Jamaica House DC. Tell me, first of all, what will Jamaica House DC be, and then how close are you to realizing that objective?
When I first heard it, I thought it was new, but those who've been around JNA for years assure me that that idea has been floating around for a very long time. We have set up a task force which has been doing surveys, a needs survey. We have been developing pledge cards, and anyone and everyone is encouraged to donate to that cause. We have several different avenues, and we're just working them as best we can.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what's ahead for Jamaica Nationals Association. Stick with us. Welcome back to the second segment. In the first segment, we spoke with the president of the Jamaica Nationals Association, Ms. Claudette Henry. And joining me now is former president and current vice president, Ms. Maureen Wallace. Ms. Wallace, welcome to PEP Talk.
Thank you. Thank you, Peppy.
All right, so tell me, how do you manage to go from being the president to the vice president?
The whole switcheroo thing. Actually, after my 2 years of challenge and work there, you know, with all leadership role, it's quite challenging and very hectic, and especially when it's a volunteer thing. You're talking about putting in a lot and having to juggle your personal life. So I took a break after the 2 years serving as president, and after 2 years passed, I guess I couldn't hold myself back. I was asked to come back as the executive secretary. I was voted and accepted the position. So I came in as executive secretary. I served in that role for about 6 months, and then now the president, vice president.
Vice president.
Yes. So.
And you've been a member of JNA for 8 years.
Yes.
What is one of the major achievements for the association that you did while you were president?
Started the book scholarship. I believe that was a great achievement because originally we had it was more of a reception for the students. We would bring them and try to get them connected with the various organizations or individuals in the area. We're talking about foreign students, Jamaican students. So I wanted to take it a step above and do something that was lasting, and took from my experience. I came here, and I knew there were some semesters I wish I could have gotten a helping hand with my books, my expensive books. So started that program. So I think that was a great achievement, and it's been very helpful, and I'm very proud to know that it's continuing and now extended on to students in Jamaica.
And that was the Dr. Gordon Shirley Book Scholarship.
Yes.
Why Dr. Gordon Shirley?
At the time, because of his involvement in education and his passion for education, we decided then, and he was the current ambassador at the time, and upon him leaving, it was somewhat a twofold. Us recognizing his contribution to the community here and his passion for education, we then so named the scholarship after him.
Gordon. And I know, okay, again, if you need more information on the Jamaican Nationals Association, you can go to jnaofdc.org. But this young lady right here, she's very, very involved in community service. And I know you have your kids and you juggle that, the work-life balance, the whole giving back to the community. What are some of the other projects that you're involved with in the community?
I'm involved with the, we call it ILR, which stands for I Love Reggae. I Love Reggae Music, which is a organization that promotes reggae music, the more positive parts and sounds of reggae music and Jamaica. So we promote the education of it, and we also promote the music as well. And we do so, we focus our first initiative we had is to support Alpha Boys School in Jamaica. And you know, we've done so by having various fundraising activities. We've had many performers who came out and help to lend a hand in you know, our mission here. So that's one.
And I know you talk about we. And I know you have a board and you have committee members, but this is really your brainchild, isn't it? This is your nonprofit.
Yes, it is. I say we because, you know, sometimes I don't want to take all of it, and certainly I can't do anything by myself, and none of us can. So it is a group that come together and make this happen. Okay,
so when did you start thinking about doing your own nonprofit? Was that while you were while you were serving a Jamaica Nationals Association, or during your break?
You make it sound like it wasn't a real break, but yeah, it was during that break. I guess I can't sit too still. I thought of it and how we could give back. You know, I love Jamaica and I love reggae, and I certainly. You know, while I like the dancehall and stuff, I'd like to see that we promote more of the positive reggae and reggae and jazz, and reggae jazz, like you see some of the artists that we've used in the past. Great performers in reggae and jazz, a blend there.
Okay, and when did you actually form I Love Reggae?
It was February of 2009.
Wow, so you're almost going on to 2 years.
Yes.
And some of the artists who you've worked with so far?
Benji Myers. And we've worked with Kev.
Okay.
We've worked with a local jazz band.
Inside Out?
Inside Out. We've worked with Image Band. And Justin.
Oh, Justin Matthew.
Justin Matthew.
Okay, he's with one of those reggae bands.
Yeah, he was with one of the reggae bands, and he now has doing his own, you know, but some really great artists there, really positive, positive reggae artists out there. So that's what we wanted to do, and we wanted kids to be able to see themselves performing and performing these types of music.
Okay, and I know that you had, for one of your goals for 2010 is to develop a summer music program in Washington, D.C. How close are you to realizing that goal?
Actually, we are not.
You're not?
Unfortunately, we are not as close to developing that. What we are doing is just promoting the education of that for youngsters to get into music education. So we haven't been able to get that accomplished yet, but we still have it in our as part of our goal to get it.
Is it because of lack of funds, or you're just not ready for that next step?
We just didn't get all the parts to really make it happen. You're talking about getting the space, you're talking about getting the tutors, getting the individuals to volunteer their time to do this. So unfortunately, we did not get all the parts of it, all the parts of the puzzle to make it happen. But we still are working towards making that happen.
And then, so for ILR, you mentioned that you work with a lot of local area musicians. In terms of the people who are going to teach music education and the people with the whole musical knowledge, who are some of the people that you're drawing support from in order to spread the message of what you're trying to do?
Most of the people who we're working with in terms of the performers and who've been on our boards, those are the people we're relying on.
Okay.
The people who have the expertise, because while I love the music, I can't play any instrument at all. But I admire anyone who can. So we have many of the band members, many of the individuals who are performers. They're willing, and as soon as we put it together, they will be able to do so.
Okay, and I know that in 2010 you were doing your events, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it like every 2 months? What's the frequency with which you have these events to raise funds?
It started out once a month, and then we scaled back to every 2 months, and now we're taking a winter break. Yes, we're taking a winter break with that, and we're expecting to come out in spring.
In spring. Okay, and so are you still trying to accomplish that music education program as part of your 2011 goals, or are you still trying to get all your ducks in a row?
We're trying to get our ducks in a row, and hopefully if we could get that for 2011, that would be one great accomplishment for the organization.
I know that there's a major accomplishment that you did with ILR this year during Jamaica's independence time. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? I know ILR and yourself were very instrumental in having that event that kind of that took the place of the regular Sunday market event that was typically done through the Embassy of Jamaica in Washington, D.C. Tell me about the whole vision that went along with that.
Well, in lieu, as you said, it's not really to take place of it, but given that there was not going to be a Sunday market that was led by the Embassy, we thought that was a void in the community. There were many people out there that look forward to that event. So we thought, let's just help to bridge that gap right there and make it happen. So we had a marketplace where we had, it was a phenomenal event. The performers were great. There were. We actually extended it out to having fashion show, and we had a made in Jamaica discussion with our representative from the embassy. It was really a great event. So that in itself was, or giving back and showcasing the culture there.
Okay, well, there you have it. This is Ms. Maureen Wallace, and I'd like to call her a community advocate, because that's what she seems to be doing. She's advocating for the youth. She's advocated for Jamaicans both here and abroad. She's advocating for Montgomery County, naturally advocating for her kids And it's been my pleasure speaking to you. Any last words?
I mean, I love you, Peppy, and you know, you're an inspiration to me and to the community, and you know, I think that I mean, you're just a really good representation of what a strong Black woman is. So, thank you.
Wow, we're not gonna edit that one out because I actually like that, and I didn't pay her to say it. So, I just want to thank Maureen again for coming on the show. You were fabulous, and I love everything that you're doing. Look forward to lots of great works from you going forward.
Okay,
Thank you. This is Pep Talk, and keep it locked. We'll be back next time.